Shalom, Hebrews and Hebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple. Welcome to the channel. Um, we're going to do our daily bread. I'm kind of late getting it done. Been a long day already. Um, but like I made in my previous video, we got some oil wells going. We're pumping some oil out of the ground, y'all. That's good, good, good. So, as per our daily bread, I'm fixing to flip the camera around. We'll read Genesis 43, I think. Yeah, 43. And then we'll cruise into Psalms, Proverbs, and Matthew, uh, and give commentary as the Spirit gives me. But mainly, we're just learning to read the Scriptures. So, um, if you're new to the channel, go back and look at some of my videos in the archives. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. And I hope this blesses you, encourages you, and even frustrates you to go and do side studies from what we read here. That it would inspire you to get depth and deep in the Word of Yahweh. So, let me get the camera flipped around. Kind of a nice day, other than it's 94 degrees. I'm not a warm weather person. I like the cold. All right. Now remember yesterday that Jacob had just been reunited with his brothers, and they bowed to him as per the dream that he had back when he was a teenager. So, Bereshit 43 verse 1, Genesis 43:1 says, "But the scarcity of food was severe in the land. And it came to be, when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought from Mitzrayim, that their father said to them, Go back, buy us a little food. But Yehuda spoke to him, saying, The man vehemently warned us, saying, You do not see my face unless your brother is with you." Now check it out. Simon's been in prison this whole time. Go back to when they first sold Joseph into slavery and see where Simon's stance was on that. So, a little bit of payback here. And so Simon's been in slavery this entire time, or in jail this entire time. They went back, ate all the food, and now it's time to go back to the store. Okay, so this ain't just a couple of days. We're probably talking a month. Anyway, read the book, man. While Yehuda spoke to him, saying, The man vehemently warned us, saying, You do not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you let our brother go with us, we go down and buy you food. But if you do not let him go, we ain't going down, because the man said to us, You do not see my face unless your brother is with you. And Israel said, Why did you do evil to me to inform the man that you still had another brother? Why are you volunteering information? See, we get in trouble with that a lot. Don't volunteer information. It'll save you a whole lot of trouble. And they said, The man kept asking about us and our relatives, saying, Is our father still alive? Have you another brother? And we informed him according to these words. How could we know that he would say, Bring your brother down? Like, that was kind of out of the ordinary. Again, though, don't volunteer information. And Yehuda said to Israel, his father, Send the boy with me, and let us arise and go, and live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I myself shall stand guarantee for him. From my hand you are to require him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For if we had not delayed, truly, by now, we could have returned the second time. And their father Israel said to them, If so, then do this. Take some of the best fruit of the land in your vessels, and bring a present down for the man, a little balm, a little honey, some spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double silver in your hand, and take back in your hand the silver that was returned in the mouth of your sacks. It could have been a mistake. Don't go down there short-handed. Take your brother, arise, go back to the man. And El Shaddai give to you compassion before the man. so that he shall release your other brother and Benjamin. And I, if I am bereaved, I'm bereaved. And the man took that present and Benjamin, and they took double the amount of silver in their land, and arose and went down to Mitzrayim, and stood before Joseph. And Joseph saw Benjamin with them, and said to the one over his house, Bring them in, and make a great slaughter, and prepare for these men are to eat with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph said, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, It is because of the silver which was put back in our sacks the first time that we were brought in, to throw himself upon us and fall upon us, to take us as slaves, our donkeys too. We're going to be slaves, and they even going to get our donkeys. And y'all worry about too much, y'all. So they came near to the man over the house of Joseph, and spoke to him at the door of the house. And said, Oh, my master, we indeed came down the first time to buy food. But it came to be, when we came to the lodging place, that we opened our sacks, and saw each man's silver in the mouth of his sack, our silver in its weight, and we have brought it back in our hand. And we have brought down other silver in our hands to buy food. We do not know who put silver in our sacks. But he said, Peace with you, peace be with you, do not be afraid. Your Elohim and the Elohim of your father has given your treasure in your sacks. Your silver had come to me. And he brought Shimon out to them, he brought Shimon out to them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their donkeys fodder. And they made the present ready for Joseph's coming at noon, for they heard that they were to eat there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand, and into the house, and bowed down before him to the earth. Go back to Joseph's dream. This is the second time they bowed down to him. And they made the present ready for Joseph coming at noon. No, wait. And he asked them about their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom you spoke, is he still alive? And they said, Your servant, our father, is in good health. He is still alive. And they bowed their heads down and did obeisance. And he lifted his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom you spoke to me? He said, Elohim show favor to you, my son. And Joseph hurried, for his emotions were deeply moved towards his brother. And he looked for a place to weep, and went into his room and wept there. And he washed his face, and came out, controlled himself, and said, Serve the food. And they set him a place by himself, and them by themselves, and the Mitzrites who ate with him by themselves. For the Mitzrites could not eat food with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination to the Mitzrite. New to the channel, that's an Egyptian. Mitzrites are Egyptians. Mitzrayim is Egypt. And they saw before him the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men looked at each other in astonishment. And he took portions to them from before them. But Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as any of theirs. And they feasted and they drank with him. Let's go ahead and read 44. It's just one quickie. And he commanded the one over his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as they are able to bear, and put each man's silver in the mouth of his sack. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest, and the silver for his grain. And he did according to the word of Joseph, which he spoke. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, and their donkeys. At least they got their donkeys, right? And when they had gone out of the city, not having gone far, Joseph said to one over his house, Rise up, follow the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, Why have you prayed evil for good? Is this not the one from whom which my master drinks, and with which he indeed divines? You have done evil in what you have done. So he overtook them and spoke those words to them. And they said to him, Why does my master say these words? Far be it from us that your servant should do according to this word. See, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the silver which we found in the mouth of our sacks. How then should we steal silver or gold from your master's house? With whomever of your servants it is found, he shall die, and we shall become my master's slaves as well. Rut-row, don't let your butt overload your mouth. Careful what you say. Puffed up with pride, even when you're sure you're right, could be mistaken. And he said, now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it be found becomes my slave, and you are innocent. And they hurried, each man let down his sack to the ground, and each opened his sack. And he searched with the oldest first, and with the youngest last, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. And they tore their garments, and each man loaded his donkey and went back to the city. And Yehuda and his brothers came to Joseph's house, and he was still there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said to them, what deed is this you have done? Did you not know that a man like me indeed divines? And Yehuda said, what do we say to my master? What do we speak? Or how do we clear ourselves? Elohim has found out the crookedness of your servants. See, we are my master's slaves, both we and he, also with whom the cup was found. But he said, far be it from me to do this. The man in whose hand the cup was found, he becomes my slave. And you, go up in peace to your father. And Yehuda came near to him and said, oh, my master, please let your servant speak a word in my master's hearing. And do not let your displeasure burn against your servant, for you are like Pharaoh. So anytime you want to talk with someone, you want to plead your cause, it's always wise to kind of build them up a little bit. My master asked his servants, saying, have you a father or a brother? And we said to my master, we have a father and an old man, a young child of his old age, and his brother dead. And he alone is left of his mother's children, and his father loves him. And you said to your servants, bring him down, and let me set my eyes on him. And we said, master, the boy is not able to leave his father, for if he leaves his father shall die. Well, you said to your servants, unless your youngest brother come down with you, you do not see my face again. It came to be when we went up to your servant, my father, that we told him the words. And our father said, go back and buy a little food. But we said, we are not able to go down if our youngest brother is with us. Then we shall go down, for we are not able to see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant, my father, said to us, you know that my wife bore me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, truly, he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. And if you take this one from me too, and harm comes to him, you shall bring down my gray hair with evil to Sheol. And now, if I come to your servant, my father, and the boy is not with us, since his own life is bound up in his life, then it shall be when he sees that the boy is not with us, he shall die. So your servant shall bring down the gray hair of your servant, our father, with evil to Sheol. For your servant went guarantee for the boy to my father, saying, if I do not bring him back to you, then I shall be a sinner before my father forever. Please now, let your servant remain instead of the boy as a slave to my master, and let the boy go with his brothers. For how do I go up to my father if the boy is not with me, lest I see the evil that would become my father? Good job, Judah. He's more worried about his father and his father's feelings, after he watched what happened when they told him Joseph got tore up by beasts. You don't want to see that again. That's a little bit of love and compassion. Psalms. Let's turn to Tehillim. You know, the foreshadowing of the Messiah to come is poured out through the account of Joseph. And just about every sentence you read in that, you can find the foreshadowing of Yeshua. Dang. I think we're in Psalms 45. Tehillim 45 or Psalms 45:1. My heart is overflowing with a goodly word. I address my words to the sovereign. My tongue is the pen of a speedy writer. You are more handsome than the sons of men. Favor has been poured upon your lips. Therefore Elohim has blessed you forever. Gird your sword upon your thigh, O my